Now, your Storm Team 7 forecast first.
Well, a very good Tuesday evening, everyone. It has been a cloudy but dry day across the upstate in western North Carolina. Temperatures are warm. We're in the mid and upper 50s in the upstate in the mountains, and will stay that way with clouds through the overnight. In fact, overnight lows are only falling to the upper 40s in the upstate, with lower 40s expected in the mountains. But after tomorrow, so much colder air moves in. We'll have the very latest on that coming up in our forecast. 7 News at 7 starts right now.
Now on 7 News at 7, team coverage from South Carolina's debate, the last one in the South before voters head to the polls Saturday in South Carolina and Super Tuesday next week. We'll tell you what to expect from the stage and from right here in the spin room.
Developing, voters rallying to have their voices heard, what they want discussed tonight.
Social media is a buzz ahead of the Democratic debate. We'll show you what people are saying online from the Clemson Social Media Listening Center.
Live and local for Carolina's family. This is 7 News at 7.
The Democratic presidential candidates are getting ready to take the debate stage in about an hour for the last debate ahead of this weekend's South Carolina primary. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for watching tonight. 7 News is your local election headquarters, and we have live coverage of the debate tonight in Charleston, and that's where we find our Gordon Dill.
Good evening to you, Amy. We've got a lot of coverage to get to in advance of the debate that starts 1 hour from now right here on 7 News. In fact, we've got team coverage. I'm here inside the debate hall. This is actually the spin and filing room where some of the action will take place after the debate. Standing by outside right now are Georgia Reed Godfrey, getting some of the protest and other reaction happening from those watching from outside. And in Clemson, our Ann Maxwell's at the Social Media Listening Center. She's tracking what people are saying about these candidates as they try and attract a little bit of buzz before the election in South Carolina this coming Saturday. A lot to talk about in advance of this debate. Bernie Sanders now the clear front runner. 6 other people will be on stage with him tonight trying to gain traction from voters here. Let's get an overview of what we can expect. Just behind me here over my right shoulder, Natalie Brand filed this report.
Former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg, who's focused on debate prep since his bruising performance last week, will not be the only target on stage tonight. Fellow Democratic candidates have been hammering frontrunner Bernie Sanders following his success in the first 3 contests and recent controversial comments about Fidel Castro and Cuba on 60 Minutes.
We're very opposed to the authoritarian nature of Cuba. But, it's unfair to simply say everything is bad.
This debate is a final opportunity for voters to see all of the candidates together before Saturday's South Carolina primary and then Super Tuesday, when more than 1,300 delegates are up for grabs. Nora O'Donnell and Gail King will moderate tonight's debate, with 3 CBS News colleagues joining in the questioning.
But so many people have not made up their minds, or if they've made up their minds, they've narrowed it down to 2.
LaQuanda Hart, one of those undecided voters, says she's leaning towards Sanders.
We always hearing the things. It's more about actions. We hear a lot of things, but action is what's actually going to speak volume.
Some of the candidates are fighting for survival, including former Vice President Joe Biden, who holds a narrow lead in Palmetto State polls over Sanders and billionaire Tom Steyer.
It may not matter whether Vice President Biden wins by 2 points or 15 points. It depends on what happens Super Tuesday.
South Carolina's primary, not only a springboard, but a test of candidate support with African-American voters, who make up about 60% of the Democratic electorate in the state. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Charleston.
So now that sets the stage for what we can expect at about 8 o'clock tonight. Certainly, as Senator Sanders will, as Natalie Brand said, be a target of many of those attacks. It was Michael Bloomberg who got most of the attacks in Nevada before Bernie Sanders won that caucus by a large margin, the clear front runner now. Now, our crews got here to Charleston early this afternoon, about lunchtime today, and people have been gathering outside for much of the morning and afternoon. In fact, let me show you what it looked like when we first got here. Already crowds of people have gathered and staked out their corners to give some attention to the candidates they support, whether it is a large group of Biden supporters on the corner on the entrance in, or those who are trying to hold signs and rally attention to causes they support. Things like school choice. The environment is a major topic for people here. People want to talk about guns on stage tonight. Listen to what some of those folks told us.
The debate's happening across the street from Mother Emanuel. How can you not talk common sense gun reform?
I'd like to hear more explanation of how Medicare for All, how it's going to actually be paid for, where this money's all coming from.
Now, what you're hearing from that last voter there is very likely to be one of the lines of attack against Senator Sanders. He has the middle position on the stage tonight. It'll be on one side Senator Warren, the other Senator or former Vice President Joe Biden will be flanking him. So that's where much of the action will take place tonight. Now, also outside this evening, as these crowds continue to grow, as you heard just between us and that Mother Emanuel AME Church roughly right across the street, the crowds are continuing to grow, continuing to get louder. Let's head out there now and check with our Georgia Reed Godfrey.
We are here outside of the Gilliard Performance Hall, kind of in the heart of the pre-debate action, because in less than an hour, the Democratic presidential candidates will take the stage to answer those tough questions on how they would lead the country if they were to become president. But right now, several groups are actually outside of the venue rallying around those issues they want to see the presidential candidates touch on in tonight's debate. Now, we're seeing such a large presence because South Carolina plays an important role in this election process. On Saturday, the Democratic preference primary will take place, and it's a chance for voters to express who they want to see on the ballot in November. It also helps decide the delegates for the national convention. And in this primary, the Election Commission is already reporting a 50% increase in absentee ballots than the last time a Democratic primary was held. Traditionally, the person South Carolina selects as the nominee is the person that ends up on the ballot. And this is largely because the state's demographics and population size is similar to other states in the country, unlike the makeup of Iowa and New Hampshire. Now, a few of those rallies planned today were on behalf of the American Civil Liberties Union. I actually caught up with the organizer earlier this afternoon, who outlined some of those issues the group wants to hear in tonight's debate.
Criminal justice reform, immigration justice, reproductive freedom, and voting rights. In particular, ending mass incarceration by 50% within the presidency, ending the use of ICE detainers, lifting the Hyde Amendment, and allowing people the right to vote, even those people who are currently incarcerated.
Charter school activists were also out here rallying for educational reform and enhanced education policies. And as you know, education is one of the top issues here in the state that South Carolina lawmakers are also trying to address. Live in Charleston, Georgia Reed Godfrey, 7 News.
And thank you, Georgia Reed, for that. You know, once this debate begins tonight, one of the things to watch for, and the thing that really shapes our politics these days, is that quest to make a viral moment on stage. Literally, some of these candidates have staked their national reputation on viral moments they've created in places like the U.S. Senate. There has been debate criticism in prior events of Bernie Sanders supporters, whether warranted or not, of their activity online. So that's going to be a crucial thing to monitor tonight as well. Not just what is said on the stage, but the reaction to it in that social media environment. Luckily, we have an expert on that tonight as well. Our Ann Maxwell standing by in Clemson. She's at the Social Media Listening Center, keeping an eye on what is already trending. Ann?
Happy pan to the broom, too. Well, Gordon, there have been a bunch of students here working diligently, analyzing this data from social media as millions of posts have come in. You can see them here working hard, having some Chick-fil-A. Like I said, millions of posts have come in. We're just an hour out from this debate. Bernie Sanders has been dominating the conversation online since we got here around 4 o'clock this afternoon. You can see the share of voice, which is how much each person is being talked about online. Bernie Sanders, more than half of that. Nobody else is even really close. Joe Biden in second with a little bit more than 13%. Elizabeth Warren has about 10%. Pete Buttigieg, 8%. At the bottom, Tulsi Gabbard, less than 1%. Tom Steyer, just a little bit more than 1%. All of this is being updated in real time. These are posts that are public from Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, LinkedIn, TikTok. But the dominant platform for this kind of political talk is Twitter. Some highlights from the latest report these students have put together. Some are claiming Buttigieg is copying Obama. They're calling him repeat. Some are saying Biden is still the only one who can defeat Trump. More people are saying that they would vote for Warren. The associate director here tells me this kind of information helps them stay on top of what people are saying online, which might not be the same as offline.
We are really looking at public opinion when it comes to the statements each candidate gives, and regarding who wins the debate or who has the most share of voice and who trends. We're analyzing really what social media users on a public level are talking about when it comes to the candidates.
And that associate director said this data they're getting here does not take into account any possible fake accounts from like perhaps a Russian disinformation campaign, but it does take into account just that sheer volume. Reporting live in Clemson, Ann Maxwell, 7 News.
All right, Ann, thank you for that. Usually in past debates, those viral moments, the ones that really get people talking, happen relatively early in the debate. For example, in Nevada, Senator Warren went immediately at Michael Bloomberg, attacking him, and that was a moment that lit up Twitter for much of the rest of the night. So look for those attacks and those moments early in this debate that starts tonight at 8 o'clock right here on 7 News. Our coverage will continue live from here in Charleston a little bit later in this newscast. For now, though, Amy, let's send it back to you.
Gordon, thank you. See you soon. Several candidates are planning to visit the upstate after that debate wraps up tonight. Pete Buttigieg has an appearance scheduled in Greenville on Thursday afternoon, expected to talk about health care at Nicholtown Missionary Baptist Church. Bernie Sanders will be in Spartanburg Thursday night. He's holding a rally at USC Upstate. It starts at 7:30 in the Health Education Complex. And Friday, former Vice President Joe Biden will appear in Spartanburg at Wofford College. He will be at the Jerry Richardson Indoor Stadium. That event starting at 6:30. Elizabeth Warren will be in Greenville on Friday at the Rutherford on Rutherford Road. That event starts at 1:15. Many of these events that we've just talked about here require tickets, so you can find out more about that by visiting our website, WSPA.com. And also happening now, the candidates for Greenville County Sheriff are squaring off in their own debate. Democratic candidate Paul Guy and Republican candidate Hobart Lewis are at the Ebenezer Welcome Baptist Church in Landrum. We'll have more coverage on this for you tonight, both on air and online. And we have more local election coverage coming up later in our broadcast, all night long, in fact. Don't forget, you can get your election information anytime you need it by visiting our website, WSPA.com. And next on 7 News at 7, 2 teenagers injured in a shooting last night right here in the upstate. We're hearing from the investigators on this case. Developing, the Greenville County deputies are investigating a shooting that injured 2 teenagers last night. This happened in the back parking lot of Pete's Drive-In on Whitehorse Road. 7 News reporter Ayla Ferrone has more.
I'm told those teenagers came to this QT for help as the shooter drove away. Now investigators are asking anyone who may have seen anything to give them a call. 2 teens suffering gunshot wounds and a shooter on the loose.
The call originated with some individuals who were in a vehicle. 2 of those occupants were teenagers.
This following an incident in the back parking lot of Pete's Drive-In on Whitehorse Road Monday night.
Another vehicle pulled up sometime later. Shots were fired and 2 victims were shot.
Employees at Pete's did not want to go on camera, but tell us a silver Dodge Charger drove off in one direction and the victims headed to the QT for help. Meanwhile, across the street, and just hours earlier, Carolyn Hinson had closed down the R.D. Cochran store for the day and headed home.
It's just like every other area. You have to be careful, yeah. You don't know what's around the next corner.
The store has been in her family since the 1920s, and she says the area has become more dangerous over the past decade.
That's why I leave before dark. Yeah, or try to, yeah. Or try not to be by myself here after dark.
She says the shooting hits too close to home and could have easily happened here instead.
Just to keep an eye on it, that's it, though. But you're never too careful.
She and the sheriff's office say incidents like this are even more disturbing when young people are involved.
The people who are involved in these shootings are young adolescents, teenagers who have their whole life to live. It's definitely concerning.
I'm told those 2 teens are in stable condition tonight with non-life-threatening injuries. I'm reporting in Greenville, Ayla Ferrone, 7 News.
Anyone with information, however minor, on this case is urged to contact the sheriff's office right away. You also can submit tips through Crime Stoppers if you'd like to stay anonymous. Coming up on 7 News, a local child is asking for something different for his birthday. He wants to help others.
And cloudy skies today, but warm temperatures in the forecast. We'll take a look at one more warm day before some much colder air returns. That's all coming up when we come back.
We're bringing you a story from a very special member of Carolina's family. A local fourth grader is asking for a different kind of birthday present this year. Our Henry Coburn has this heartwarming story.
Today here at Oakland Elementary School, I spoke with one student who, instead of asking for presents for his birthday, is asking for things like warm hats and gloves to help out the homeless population. Take a look.
Kane Horn is a fourth grade student at Oakland Elementary School. His favorite subject is art, but teachers say he's also great at other subjects like reading and math.
How many times does 4 go into 15?
In third grade, he scored a perfect score on the math SC Ready test.
He's really good at math, and he loves learning math.
But Kane is more than just a star student.
He's always helpful, and he's just got a great heart. Great heart.
Tomorrow is Kane's 10th birthday, but his wish this year is not for presents for himself.
I want more people to donate to the homeless.
Kane is asking for donations of things like hats, gloves, socks, and hygiene products to give to those in need.
It's important to me because the homeless have to live on the streets while I have a roof over my head, and everything comes down on them, and they are not warm, so I wanted to donate to them.
That he sees this need in our community, and he says, you know what, instead of presents or instead of materialistic things like most 9-year-olds would want, he said, I want to go out and I want to help. I want to do what I can for our community, and I think that's great.
He's always been a standout kid. He has a sweet heart, and he likes to give hugs, and he's always happy and willing to lend a hand to anybody who needs it.
God laid on my heart and was telling me, get to the homeless, because I am blessed enough and they have nothing, so I thought they should get more.
Now, if you want to donate to the cause, you can bring by any of those items I just listed here to Oakland Elementary School, drop them off at the front desk, and say they're for Kane. At Oakland Elementary School in Spartanburg County, I'm Henry Coburn, 7 News.
Oh, Kane, what a great young man. Even though Kane's birthday's tomorrow, donations are being accepted at Oakland Elementary School for the rest of this week. So if you want to get involved, you still have a good chance to help out.
Well, it was actually a nice day today. Warm weather, although we stayed cloudy throughout the afternoon. A few showers this morning, moved out quickly, and by noon, we actually saw a little bit of sunlight. But overall, the last 2 days, been rainy days. Over an inch of rain in Anderson and Greenwood, almost an inch in Greenville. Spartanburg just shy of an inch at about 9/10, and in Asheville we saw less than half of an inch of rain over the last 2 days. The warm temperatures were the other story. We stayed cloudy but warm with 60s today, 64 in the upstate, 63 in the mountains. Those temperatures are 5 to 10 degrees above normal for this time of year. But we're going to get closer to average over the next few days. In fact, a little bit cooler than average. But the clouds added something really cool tonight. We had a great-looking sunset. Have a couple of shots here. This is from our Pelham Road camera. Notice the bright orange color in the sky. Same story as we take a look at what we saw of the 85 through 85 quarter. And one last look. Great-looking shot of orange and nice color over Lake Hartwell as the sun went down. Well, the sun is down now, and it is a dark evening. It is cloudy right now, but the clouds will start to move out. And with that, temperature staying in the 50s, upper 50s in the upstate and mid-50s in the mountains. We're anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees warmer right now than we were this time yesterday. You can see the little twirl in the atmosphere, that little twist there. That's our cold front trying to come through, and as it moves through the area, it dries things out overnight. We're going to see temperatures staying in the 50s through the evening in the upstate. We'll slowly drop into the upper 40s by midnight in the mountains. But as we take a look at our weather over the next few days, partly sunny to mostly sunny weather Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend, so we're dry. But the big story becomes those much colder temperatures in our forecast. Tomorrow morning we wake up to mid-40s in the upstate, low 40s in the mountains, very manageable. We'll see partly sunny skies. That pushes temperatures in the afternoon to the 60s. Once again in the upstate, around 67 degrees, our expected high. In western North Carolina, we start in the 40s tomorrow morning. Partly sunny skies in the morning, a little more sunshine in the afternoon, and highs just shy of 60 degrees for western North Carolina. 60s in the upstate, upper 50s in the mountains, and as a cold front moves through today, well, it's going to clear things out overnight. Tomorrow we'll see partly sunny skies to go through the day. Dry weather in the upstate, but in western North Carolina, as that little system comes through, we may see a brief shower around 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. Nothing too outrageous or overwhelming, but the story becomes colder temperatures after tomorrow. We'll see temperatures in the 50s and 60s as we take a look at your Storm Team 7-on-7 forecast. It's going to be about colder temperatures. 60s on Wednesday, but highs will fall to the 50s on Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend for the upstate and for western North Carolina. That's our forecast. We'll be back right after this.
In Anderson County, leaders there say a $30 million County Square project will lead to more businesses and visitors. 2 to 3 new buildings will house condos, retail stores, and county offices right behind the old historic courthouse. We're told construction was set to start in January, but proposals and ideas are still being developed. County leaders say they want to make sure it's a project that will last at least 100 years.
We're taking extreme care, working very slowly, trying to make sure that we have everything exactly right, so it will be something that all the Anderson County residents can be proud of.
County leaders say they're also seeking the community's input. They say when construction does begin, it'll take about 14 months.
And we just watched the chairman of the National Democratic Party address the main auditorium where those candidates will take the debate stage in just about a half hour. Our live coverage from Charleston, the team coverage continues right after the quick break.